In this lesson, we're going to learn how to do some white balance correction to our video by sampling a neutral part of the video and then adjusting our values back to being neutral color based off of that. So if you've downloaded your color correction source files already, you can go ahead and import the color balance video, which I'm doing by dragging in. You can also do it by doing file import or by double-clicking your project panel to import it in. And we want to make sure that our composition settings match with our video settings exactly. And the best way to do that is by making a composition out of our video by dragging the video clip down to this composition icon. That'll make everything match exactly. And we can see what we have here is a video that was shot in the shade. We got a little bit of backlighting happening, and we're getting a lot of a blue tint to this that we want to take out. So we need to find a neutral part to sample from. And we actually have two options here. We can either sample from the white parts that weren't colored in on the character, or we can sample from this woman that's walking around in our background. We can pull out some of the white from there. I'm actually going to go with the foreground because this is our main focus. And I got this big white chunk that's very blue tinted right here that I can sample from. So this is a good reason to use your info panel. What we can see over in our info panel, it's going to give us our red, green, and blue values. And it's really easy to tell that our red and green values are much, much lower than our blue value. We have 115 for our red, 170 for our green, and 235, which is much higher for our blue. So we just need to do a little bit of math to kind of even these out. And we're going to plug it into a levels effect to even everything out. So let me write down these values. Red is 115, green is 170, and blue is 235. And that way if I accidentally move my cursor, I won't have to get all new values. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull up my calculator app. And we're going to do a little bit of math with this. So what we want to do is we want to take our two lower values and divide each of them by our higher value. And that'll give us a percentage that will apply to the maximum color value, which is 255, which we can see on our alpha channel right here. So we're going to start with our red, so 115, and divide that by 235. And that'll give us almost 0.5, so 0.489, and then a bunch of numbers afterwards. Now we're going to take this number and we're going to times it by 255. And this will give us a value of 124.78, or we'll call it about 125. So we're going to write down that value for our red, 125. And then we're ready to move on to our green. So our green is going to be done the same way. We're going to start with the green value, divide that by 235, which is the blue value, and we get 0.72. And we're going to times that by 255, the maximum color value, to get about 184. Write down that number. Okay. So now we've got our 125 for our red and 184 for our green. We can hide our calculator and switch back to After Effects. And we're going to apply the level effects to get this back to being normal. So if you go up to Effect, Color Correction, Levels, it'll apply the level effect. And from here, what we want to do is we're going to switch it from being a channel of RGB, which is going to be all three of our channels, to specify our red and then our green channels. So I'm going to select red first. And in this red input white, you're going to type in that value you got, which is 125. Now first, it's going to look very, very pink, and that's because we haven't evened out our green yet. So let's switch over to our green. And inside of our green input white, we're going to type in that other value, 184. Look how much better that looked. So this was our starting image with the effect turned off. When we turn the effect on, we can really see that we're getting the proper colors now. We get a lot more of those yellows in from the natural lighting. Okay. So this is a pretty easy technique to use. You can actually use it on any application that has levels, that has the input white, so that includes Photoshop, or Premiere, or any other heavy photo or video-based editing program allows you to use it in the same sort of way. So it can actually be used in multiple applications.